go.
Here it comes. Coming in hot.
Coming in hot.
All right.
What role do these institutions' core providers play in cybersecurity response?
Yeah, great question. So let's start from the assumption that all institutions have some element of outsourcing. That's a safe assumption, right? Let's also assume that cyber incidents can originate with a third party and then resonate to the institution, even though the institution had nothing to do with it. So the institution, normally if it originated in-house, an incident originated in-house, the protective elements, the detective elements, the corrective and responsive elements would all be the responsibility of the institution, okay? When it originates with a third party, like a core provider, for example, the institution couldn't prevent it. The institution didn't detect it. They were simply notified that it occurred. However, because they're feeling the effects of it, inevitably, they still have the responsibility to respond and recover. So you still have to have procedures in place in your incident response plan to address a situation for an incident that occurs or originates outside the institution. And that means that you need to know what the impact is on your customers. I tend to go back to a process-based approach there, which is the same approach you take for a natural disaster, right? What processes are we now unable to provide to our customers or have been impacted or impaired, right? And two, are they likely to be impacted or impaired beyond recovery time objectives? Because those are predefined values that the board has already decided is the limit of their acceptability, right? So we can't have electronic banking down for more than 6 hours. We can't have funds management down for more than 2 days, whatever the case may be, right? So if this thing occurs at a third party, core provider, any third party, what can you not do now that you need to do? And is it likely that you're not going to be able to do it for a period of time that exceeds your recovery time objective? And if so, you simply kick your business continuity plan in at that point, and you recover the same way you would if it were a natural disaster or any other thing. The only thing different is you had nothing to do with the preventive elements of that incident, right? Had nothing to do with that. You had nothing to do with the detection of that incident, right? You're at the mercy of the third party for that. Containment and control are typically also the responsibility of that third party, right? So you're stuck with response and recovery, right? And that's, so essentially out of the 4 elements of controlling risk, 3 of them are out of your control when it happens at a TSP or a third party.
While you were talking about that, I was primarily thinking about how strange it is that we park in our driveway
And drive
but we drive on a parkway.
It's amazing, isn't it?
English is a strange language.
I noticed that you zoned out there for a second. Your eyes kind of roll back in your head,
Yeah.
and then you come back and you're like, you've been elsewhere. You've been somewhere else.
I'm ready for lunch.
Yeah, me too.
But we have only a couple questions left.
Let's do it.